everyone, welcome to another video. I'm going to be sharing some super easy foil Christmas cards. I'll actually be putting up these free printables over on my blog so you can make these too. Now I went ahead and made these in Photoshop Elements. I printed them off onto heavyweight white cardstock. You are going to want to make sure that you print off with a laser printer, and also you want to make sure that you have your proper settings on your printer set up to print on heavyweight cardstock so you get a lot of toner on there. I'm also going to be using this gold deco foil to do all of my foiling, and I'll be using this laminator right here. This is the Royal Sovereign. I got it off Amazon for like 20 bucks and it works perfectly. Now I did this first with a carrier sheet, and I found that whenever I put these through with the carrier sheet, the foil didn't transfer as well. So this is kind of one of those things where you do it at your own risk. I actually didn't have any trouble with mine getting stuck. I just keep my finger at the back there and kind of keep tapping it to make sure everything comes out okay. It went through just fine. So I sent this through once, and then I'm going to go ahead and flip this to the side and send it through one more time. Now again, I am sending this through my laminator twice with no carrier sheet. I have it set to the 5 mils, which is the hottest setting, and I also have let this heat up for like a good 20-25 minutes before I send these through. So there's a look at how that looks coming out. I did it with the other panel as well. Then I let them cool down. Now it's time to take off that foil, and you've got these gorgeous foiled images ready to be turned into cards. It's really that simple. It took me, with sending them through, probably about 10 minutes to do these both. Now if you wanted to, you could quickly just cut these out and mat them. However, I'm going to turn them into cards, and I'll show you how I did that. But first I want to show you that first run I did with a carrier sheet. There you can see all that skipping I got and just a lot of black space where the foil didn't transfer. If that happens to you, try running your paper through without that carrier sheet, and that should give you the amount of heat you need. Now I cut down my tree panel to 4 inches by 5 1/4. I'm actually going to be stamping on a black foam pad to make sure I get a really good stamped image. You can use a notebook, you can use a magazine, a mouse pad, anything to give that a little bit of cushion. I grabbed a Noel sentiment from the 3D Poinsettia Joy Claire stamp set. However, you can use whatever sentiment you want on the bottom. I'm also using Icing on the Cake ink from Catherine Pooler, which is a nice brown dye ink. I know it stamps really well. I wanted to prep that stamp a few times before I actually brought it over to the panel. So I stamped that off on some scrap paper, and then I'll go ahead and stamp it right underneath the tree. This kind of gives it the sentiment, but it also looks like the little stump on the tree as well. So I thought that was a neat idea to stamp it with brown. Now to finish this card off, like I said, I cut it to 4 inches by 5 1/4. I'm going to mat it onto a green panel that I cut that measures A2 in size, so 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inches. I'm using just plain adhesive with this. This is a paper tape adhesive. However, liquid adhesive would work as well. Then I'll load that entire thing onto an A2 top folding card base. Now if you're new to card making, I do have a video on making card bases yourself. I will leave that linked in the top right hand corner. If that's not your thing, you can also buy pre-made card bases as well. There's a closer look at that finished card. It was very simple. It took about 15 minutes to make that one. Now the second one, I'm going to do a little bit more. I'm going to do some die cutting with it. You could easily finish this one off just like you did beforehand, mat it, throw it on a card base, but I wanted to die cut this one. So when you're die cutting your foil pieces, make sure you throw a piece of scrap paper over that so it doesn't pick up any cut lines that might be on your cutting plates. Now I did not remove some little scraps I had on my back panel, my back plate, so I did pick those up. Make sure your cutting mats are nice and clean before you run it through. Don't make the mistake that I did. I also die cut a larger scalloped rectangle from that same die set that I used. It's a mixed rectangle die set from Tonic. As always, I will leave all the supplies listed and linked down below so you can easily find all the supplies I used, colors, die sets, that kind of thing. I matted that with my maroon little panel that I die cut. I added some dimensional adhesive on the back of that and put the entire thing onto another top folding A2 white card base, and that finishes that second card. Here is a closer look at both finished cards. They are so shiny and gorgeous. I love them. And this whole process took maybe 30 minutes, and that was with my little test beforehand where I screwed up the cards. So 20 minutes if you do it correct the first time. Here's a few final pictures of the cards so you can get a closer look at that shiny foil. It shines more in real life than it does in pictures. It's just so hard to photograph. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. The free printables will be over on my blog. I will leave that linked in the description box. My social media is also linked down there. There are links on the left side of your screen you can click on. If you want to see more videos, you can subscribe to my channel over there as well. Thanks for watching and happy crafting.